upload.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. We're here again for another one of our live Q&As. I'm Susan with Pack Leader Dog Training, and this is Rachel with Rachel Kohler Dog Training. So what you'll want to do is just hop on here, grab a snack, something to drink, ask any of your training questions. If you have any vet medicine questions, you can ask those as well. I'm not a doctor, but I can do my best to answer your questions based on my experience. Or if there's just anything you want to know about us, please feel free and ask.
Yeah. Happy Q&A Tuesday.
Yeah. It is March, which is nuts. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this year just started.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure 2020 just started.
Okay, don't come at me. We don't talk about that year. Just kidding. Gosh. I love Tuesdays. I was telling Susan, I think it was Thursday, because I think it was when Ford got to my house. I was thinking it, and I didn't end up telling you until a couple of days later. But I was sad that Q&A Tuesday was so far away. I had like 4 days to wait, and I'm like, I don't want to wait that long.
Right?
Like, I'm starting to, like, I love doing these, but I used to dread the idea of doing it until we were in it talking. And then now it's like, well, I miss Q&A Tuesday. Is it Tuesday yet?
Right. We could have done a random Q&A Thursday, I guess.
All right, don't push it, okay? All right. Do you want me to start us out, or do you want to dive in with some stuff?
Yeah. Do you have like a topic? What's one of your topics?
Let's see. I'm pulling it up now. So, one of my topics, I actually want to save for that topic. So I'm going to just ask you a question first, if you're okay with that. So my question is, apparently it's puppy season. We're getting lots of puppies. So how do you stop puppy biting? Because I think that's one of the biggest issues that puppy owners struggle with.
Yeah. So you can do a couple things with puppy biting. My personal fan favorite is compressed air. Now I do kind of keep in mind that when I go to clients' houses, they may not have compressed air because they hired me. So they're probably just a normal household that doesn't have that. If you don't have anything, you can use a bonker. If your puppy mouths you, just say no, bonk. You can do like the fingers in the mouth. So you're just trying to make it uncomfortable. So you bite me, that's uncomfortable. Just like when we say, if you do something good, here's your reward. You did something bad, it's going to be uncomfortable. So you can put like your fingers down their throat. You can do the compressed air, so no compressed air, or you could bonk them. Most important thing you want to do is mark it with no right when they're doing it. Once you do that, you have time to apply your punisher. What about you?
Yeah, so my go-to is the fingers in the mouth. And exactly like you said, we're going to mark that behavior with no, and then I'm going to push my fingers in your mouth. So it's funny when I'm always telling clients this, I'm like, okay, hear me out, because this is going to sound crazy. But puppy bites you, you say no, and then you push your fingers farther in their mouth. And I know it's really like you want to hesitate for that, because it's like, they have razor teeth. But I found personally that's the quickest way to be like, that's uncomfortable, because it's not going to be fun. You're biting me, so that's uncomfortable for me, so it's going to be uncomfortable for you. Right. And then we move on. Here's something you can chew on. So I think a lot of times people are just told to redirect the dog. So puppy bites you, here, play with this toy instead. Well, that's great, except for you missing that step. So what that does is puppy bites you, here's this toy. You're telling puppy, good job for biting me. Here's a toy. I want to say, no, don't bite me. Okay, right. Let's play with this toy instead.
Because what you might see if you do the redirecting rather than punishing that behavior to start is that it works in the moment because he's now looking at the toy, but then 5 seconds later they're biting you, or 20 minutes later they're biting you again. So that's why it might be like that false, well, look, it is working. They just keep doing it though. So right. Is it really working? No. Puppy biting is uncomfortable. Like when I worked at the vet hospital, people would come in with like marks and scratches all over their hands because they're like, yeah, she's a biter. I'm like, yeah, well, you can stop it. And so that was frustrating things. I love vet med, but when people would come with their behavior problems, that's not what they're there for. So if they didn't ask for information, like sometimes I might give some of the information, but like sometimes they didn't want answers. They were just talking. And that's not what I'm there for. I only had like 20 minutes to do all of the things in the appointment, so I couldn't really address that issue. So now I'm like loving life because I can address those issues every day, all day.
Right. Sorry, I'm just making a note because I remembered another topic I wanted to bring up.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna forget.
So puppies, how many puppies do you have right now?
Oh gosh. Let's see. How many puppies do I have right now? So I have Sally. She counts. She's in training, but she's still a puppy. Tank, Piper, and Samantha. I've got 4 puppies right now. So I've got Miss Sally in my training program and 3 puppies in my puppy programs. And then a virtual puppy.
What breeds are they?
Let's see. So I've got Miss Sally is a border collie. Tank is an English bulldog. Piper is a Brittany Spaniel. Samantha is a liver Dalmatian. And then I've got Tank's litter mate, Oakley, is doing virtual lessons with me, and she's an English bulldog.
Nice.
Apparently, it's puppy season.
Yeah, like people, it's a second wave because I think that they got puppies back in like March, April, May of last year, and now it's starting again.
Right.
So one of the most important things you can remember with the puppy, especially with us having more time off with everything going on, is make sure that that puppy can be away from you. So you're going to organically, because of what's going on, be home all the time. So the puppy's going to probably be out of the crate and that kind of thing. So make sure you make time to put the puppy in the crate and have them have their own space, just so that they don't develop separation anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Joan says yay for the liver Dalmatian. I'm very excited to work with her because I've not worked with the Dalmatian yet, and they're just stupid cute. But yeah, Susan, you're exactly right, because separation anxiety is not a problem you want to have. It's not. So anything you can do to prevent that, you're gonna want to do.
Right. Yeah, it's actually my least favorite behavior issue, separation anxiety, because it is rough. It's not just like jumping. You can say no and correct. It's here's this list of things you need to be doing.
All of them. All the time.
All of them. All the time.
It's a lot. It's a lot for the owners too, because like you said, like jumping, yeah, a trainer can come in and I can correct that and I can give the owners advice or whatever. But separation anxiety, I can come in and I can do all of the things with your dog, or like for you, the dog can board with you for the 4 weeks. You can do everything with the dog for the 4 weeks. You can get to them to the point where they're in a good mindset. If they go home to the owners, like if the owners don't put in all of that work, the dog is going to regress.
Right.
So do everything you can to prevent it.
Yes. Prevention is easier than treatment for so many things. Fleas, separation anxiety.
Right.
All right. I'll have a question for you then.
Okay.
How can I get my dog to get along with my boyfriend's dog? His dog is just all in my dog's face, and he doesn't like it.
All right. So this was a very nicely worded question. I was usually like, we don't want them to be friends. So the idea is, all right, we're going to get them to get along. So it sounds like they've got their expectations set. So we're not looking for them to be best friends. We're just looking for them to exist together, right? So we're going to do that by advocating for both dogs in that situation. So I think you said that the boyfriend's dog was getting up in this person and this person's dog's face, and that dog was like, nah. So there's obviously my answer for everything is just train the dogs, and then they can have a solid place and out command. But in the meantime, manage it. So if that means putting the dogs on leashes or rotating and crating them for a while, I don't know. Have them on leashes so boyfriend's dog can't get in your dog's face, because that's not fair to your dog. And one day your dog might say in a not so nice way, get out of my face. So I would start by keeping leashes on them for safety. If you can train them a place command, train them each a place command so they can learn to just exist together. And then I would also train them an out command. So when they are in a break together, Boyfriend's dog goes over, sniffs for a second. Okay, out. It's time to move away.
Beautiful. Yeah, ideally, oh, go ahead.
Hello.
Hey,
Hope you're having a good night.
How's Hannah? But yeah, like ideally, of course, you would teach both dogs all of the commands. If you don't have the time and or money to hire a trainer, at least do, let's say, place and out. Because like Rachel said, you can give each dog the attention and like freedom, but rotate through them. So one dog can be placed while the other one's doing whatever over here. If one dog gets too close to the other, you can out them from each other, and then you can flip-flop them, so then the other one's placed and the other one's out. But at least they'll both get to be, like, with you, but not, like, interacting, and you'll be able to have a way for them to, like, respect each other's space.
Right. And then just always remember just to advocate for them both. Pups I've got right now, Tank and Bella, they do great, and they've been great sharing things. But recently Bella's starting to not love it when Tank takes her stuff. So they're in training right now. And my biggest thing I've told the owner moving forward is make sure you're advocating for Bella. Like, we can't allow Tank to do this anymore because he's too big for that. It's not cute. It's not nice. So she's going to advocate for Bella by making sure they're fed separately, making sure they have separate play times. Because when you see those little signs, so like she's noticing that her dog isn't liking the boyfriend's dog getting in the face. We're noticing that, so let's step in now, like she is, by asking a question and advocate for our dogs. So while training takes time, and it's going to take time to get that place command and get that out command, we have to really make sure we're advocating for our dogs and like up until that point, and then continue advocating for them after, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, because so I have Miss Allie, and the out command is our best friend. Because I do have my two dogs, and she loves to go over and just like smell their face and like smell their butt and all that kind of fun stuff. And you can tell the adult dogs know I'm going to advocate for them because here's the adult dog. And then they'll like look over at me. I'm like, okay. And then I'll out her because I do want Allie to be able to go over and smell this dog. You're allowed to smell for 5 seconds. No, thank you. You're allowed to smell for like 3 to 5 seconds. And then after that, I'm going to out you because that's a polite dog behavior. So yeah, out is just an awesome command. Don't know how I existed without it.
Right, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
It is so great. Talking about how we existed without it. I used to work in a dog kennel. So I would be around anywhere between 80 to 150 dogs a day. Not a lot of them were trained, and we would go in play groups together and do all that good stuff. And I would usually go in like the big yard where like the majority of the dogs were. And I had pretty good control over my yard, but I think now, like if right now, I were to be thrown in that same yard with those same dogs, I feel like my anxiety would be through the roof because I know that I can't just say out and they're all just dispersed. Right. So it's like now anytime I'm like, there's like more than one dog together, I'm like, okay, do they both know out? Okay, I'm comfortable. Oh, the out command is so great.
It really is.
Is it my turn?
Sure is.
All right, Miss Susan. Okay, I got a good one for you.
Okay.
I don't know if you're ready for this. How do you help puppies become more confident? Because
I love confidence building stuff. Okay, so easy answer, find something that they act nervous about and work them through it. If there's nothing that the puppy seems nervous about, then have them go up on things, feel weird textures, expose them to weird noises. And so by that I don't mean like, here's a dog, and then you blow an air horn next to their face. There's definitely an etiquette to it, and so it depends on the dog. So let's take Miss Allie, for example, here.
I was hoping you would.
We were just doing this stuff downstairs. So she's got a bottle pool that helps not only texture, but noises, because she has to, so it's literally like a swimming pool, a kiddie swimming pool with empty water bottles in it, and then you toss kibble or like a high-value treat in there. You teach her to go in there, and she can get the food, by like nosing around. And when she noses around, she's hearing the water bottle sounds, and then she's also stepping all over the pool, right? So it's going to like be a weird texture. That's one thing. While she's distracted by that, I know she's sensitive to different noises. So I'll like knock on the wall, shuffle things around. I have like plastic things downstairs. I'll scrape against the floor. And just recently, I turned the treadmill on because I want to be able to, knock on wood, Joan, get her to go on the treadmill for us. So I want to desensitize her to the treadmill noise. So while she's distracted and eating food, I'm going to turn the treadmill on. If at any point the dog spooks, I stop the noise. And then I just say, like, good job, because good it has been linked with a reward already. So I'm just saying good for just standing there and not reacting, because she would stop eating and, like, kind of look. And then I'm just like, good job for existing. And, like, here's your food. She's like, oh, okay, we're eating? And I'm like, yeah, we're eating. And then as she's eating, I do the noise again. But yeah, there's so many things. Going under things, going over things, touching weird things. Right now, I could talk about this forever, so I will.
That's why, yeah.
So I have like a little bowls that are like flipped over. They're rubber bowls. So she climbs on those, and then just recently I took like a big dog crate and moved it next to it. So the food's on top of the dog crate, so she has to learn to get up on this item to then get on the dog crate to get the food.
Wow.
So at first she was scared. So she would jump down and like circle the dog crate, but she's like, you literally get to see her figure it out. She's like, I can't get to the dog food that way. I gotta go over this way. And I'm gonna end up creating like a course that she has to like walk over all these things. I'm pretty excited about that. But you can do that with normal everyday. I don't have anything crazy down in the basement. It's literally a dog crate, and then I have like a little end table thing that I put my washing basket on and like detergent. So I took all that off and I moved it over there. So now I'm gonna have like a little bridge for her to crawl over.
Wow.
So you can just take stuff in your house and make your dog go under it, over it, and yeah. So
that's amazing. And Allie has come such a long way since she's been with you.
Thank you.
I've just loved Susan and I will always say like we kind of like share our dogs a little bit because we always talk about them, and I'm always seeing her videos that she posts and everything about them. And like Allie has come such a long way. Like it's been so cool to see her like become a confident little pup. She's so cute.
She's cute. Oh, okay, real quick. I know, but we did something with the vacuum today. And hold on, I'm gonna do this real quick too. So you've never
Robin Hannah says hello.
Hey Robin, how are you? That's my sister-in-law.
Oh, hi Robin.
So I'm gonna turn this way. So she's in a play stay. So because I moved the computer, of course she's like, what's that noise? But yeah, she's just laying there. She had not really heard a vacuum before. So when she was in the kennel, had the vacuum on, and she was kind of alerting to it, acting nervous but investigative, whatever. So what I did was I patterned her to auto down in the kennel already. So when the vacuum was on, I just made her lay down in the kennel. So it's like, this vacuum may sound scary, but all you gotta do is lay there and it's not gonna touch you. And then I do have a video, I have it on my story, that she was just existing and the vacuum was there. And so my husband was like vacuuming stuff. And then as long as she didn't like back away from it or bark, I would say good and give her a treat. That's how you just expose your dog to like anything.
Nice. I gotta watch your story. I'm behind on your story.
This girl's got a busy day.
Yeah.
She's nuts.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, so I don't think I've watched any of your stories today, I don't think. But Susan always has the best stories. So if anyone's on Instagram, I know we're not live on Instagram. If anyone's on Instagram, go check out Packer Your Dog because she always has the best stories.
It's on Facebook too. Facebook stories.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that's how John sees it.
Oh yeah, I never look at Facebook stories. I forget they exist.
Yeah, me too.
But I'll have to watch that. So you have her being exposed to the vacuum on there. So that's sweet.
Yeah. And then I hope to put a video of her doing the treadmill at some point in time. So right now what I've been able to do is like I food lure her onto the treadmill and get her into the position as though she's walking. And then I am able to put my foot on it and move the belt. So like I'm moving the belt and she started walking and still eating.
Nice.
I'm just curious to see what she'll do when it turns on its own. But, slow
I
and
think,
steady.
right. And exactly, like, because I was just going to comment on that when you said slow and steady. I think that's the great thing about puppies. I mean, all dogs you can, but especially with puppies, like, it's okay to take things really slow with your puppy. So we're not going to just throw a puppy on a treadmill who's already nervous and turn it on and see how that goes, because Susan, I know somebody who does that. But we're going to take the time to teach the dog to go on a treadmill, to teach the dog that it's not a scary thing, to teach the dog, hey, the ground's going to start moving here in a minute. So, like you're manually moving the belt with your foot.
Right.
Because with puppies, it's like everything, what's like these first impressions with all the things they're having is just gonna set them up. So all these great first impressions to all these great different things, this desensitization that we do with puppies is just sets them up to be like a really super solid, well-rounded dog.
Right.
So just wanted to comment on just not throwing dogs on treadmills.
I need to get a good question for you so you can go on a rant about that. I think that's the longest talk. Okay.
Robin says
Oh.
Rosie likes to try and get on me on the treadmill. Oh my goodness.
Robin, you should train her to do it with you. Come on, like you're going, she's going.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
legs.
Gonna get like a wide treadmill so you can just go right next to each other.
Yeah, or two treadmills. Oh, Roxy.
Oh, Roxy. Aw. That
She's
is so cute. She's like, I'll help myself right on there. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Okay, Rachel.
Yes, ma'am.
When to get a second dog? When do you think someone would be ready to get a second dog?
I don't know, man. I'm looking at Guy and I'm feeling like one's enough. So no, let me stop. Okay, so when should you get a second dog? I always suggest that once your first dog, like make sure they're in a really like solid. I feel like I'm saying solid a lot. Make sure your first dog's in a really good place before you bring in a second dog. So your first dog should be all trained up, preferably, but I know not everyone trains their dog. Your first dog preferably will be all trained up or won't have any severe behavioral issues. You should be able to, give them the time and the attention that they need, and everything with them is going well. So I never want somebody to get a second dog because dog A is having issue. I don't care what the issue is. Dog A has separation anxiety, so I'm going to give him a friend. I don't have enough time for dog A, so I'm going to get him a friend. I can't do this with dog A, so they'll have a friend. Like I want dog A to be living their best life, and I want you to be living your best life with dog A before you even think about bringing in another dog. Because likely any issue you're having with the first dog, probably going to have that with the second dog as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you obviously also have to consider, not to like go way into this, but the financial side of owning two dogs. So not only is it going to be your time, but it's also going to be double the food, double the vet bills. Do you board them? Double their boarding. Grooming? Double the grooming. It's double everything and then triple your time because you're going to make sure you're wanting to spend time with each of them as individuals and with them together. So you really want to make sure they're, I mean, I can imagine because I only have one. But I mean, I can imagine that the difference between 1 and 2 is kind of like a little bit of a jump.
You know the most annoying thing? Okay, there's the two most annoying things about multiple dogs. Shut your mouth. Respect your elders, girl.
Okay, I'll leave.
Most annoying thing, double the poop. This is real. This shit is real.
Literally.
Double the poop. So double the poop bags if you clean it up like I do every time.
Mm-hmm.
But no, for real, the worst part is the boarding. Like,
right.
The boarding sucked. At one time, so we had 3 dogs. Sadie, Jem, and Little. And that was the worst part. It's because like I never wanted to go on vacation. I mean, I did want to go on vacation, obviously, but like I felt guilty leaving them, and I didn't trust anybody if they weren't like my friend Megan. Yeah, I don't want to leave my dog at a kennel because I hold my dog to a standard, like no jumping, no barking, no whining. When they go to the kennel, they're allowed to do all of that stuff unless you have a really good like training kennel.
Right.
And then when I would get my dogs back, it was like they spent the week at Chuck E. Cheese. So they would be like, and they'd be trying to jump all around me, like wouldn't jump on me because they know better, but they'd be jumping around, whiny. It was awful. That was the worst part.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, just goes to show like another thing, like just with any dog owner, you know, what are you going to do when you go on vacation? Are you going to plan your vacations around it being dog friendly? Do you have someone that you can trust to watch them? Do you have a kennel that you, you know, think is safe and well run that you trust taking them there? And that kind of like, this is a little bit of a side note, but I was talking to a client today about something similar. So she's got a I don't know, someone, daughter-in-law, niece, something, I don't know, who's pretty young and 19 years old and is in college in a dorm and has a newly adopted dog. And we were talking about like being like so young and having just one dog. So like let alone two, but like just the one and all the responsibility that it goes into having one dog. I know this is like off topic, but it's like I think I see a lot of people, like a lot of young people, and I know, don't come at me, will get dogs and then you don't consider the vet bills, all of the food. What if an emergency happens? Do you want to stay the night at your friend's house? Well, you can't. You need to go home and take care of your dog. Like constant responsibility. I had no plan on getting a dog on my own for a while. I planned on like taking care of client dogs and like doing all that good stuff. And then Gaia fell into my lap. And now she's here. Yes, literally. I had no intention of keeping her. Now I love her with my whole heart. So it's great.
Like, Rachel's like, I'll just foster her.
And everyone was like, you're going to keep her. And I'm like, nah. Because literally, I'm like, I said she's gross. She had so many like, because she looked gross. She was like skin and bone and covered in like grossness. And now I've got her all healthy.
I didn't think you would. I really didn't.
I really didn't. I had full intentions of getting her home. I was working on a little adopt me video that I was being told I wasn't going to be allowed to post, but I was going to anyways to get this dog adopted. I was like making plans to find her a home. And then, oh, for people who don't know, this was at my internship that Susan and I met at, is where I met her, Gaia. And I started fostering her. And then the place we interned at, I'll say this from my point of view, was duty. So when my internship ended early, I could not leave Gaia there. I thought I could. I was like, I can't bring her back home, so I can't do anything about it. But I honestly, just the thought of leaving her in that environment, couldn't do it. And now I love her, so it's fine.
All is well.
I know. I love her. Didn't mean to. See, I went on a rant. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. My bubble guppy. She's a sweetheart. I'll tell you though, she's recovered now, obviously from her ear hematoma surgery. She had some teeth removed and a growth removed. I think she's like all the way feeling better now because like you would not recognize her. We did trick training last night and I have never seen her so into it.
That's so great.
It was adorable.
Because if you would know her before when she was at the training facility, she would just sit there and do nothing and lay there and do nothing.
And just be uncomfortable.
It's a totally different dog, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that was fun. Love my guppy.
I think it's your turn for a question.
All right, I've got a topic. I'm ready to dive in. And last time I had a topic that I was really amped about and that I just ranted and didn't let you say anything, so I'm gonna like keep my mouth shut. Okay, so it's not really like a question format, but it's more of something people say that I wanna talk about.
Oh, great.
Okay. Okay. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay, so when people say, okay, dog's got X issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you spay the dog, it'll take care of that. Neuter the dog, that'll fix that problem. Have you tried changing their food? Just that. Like, I don't even have any better way to format it. Just
Okay.
spaying and neutering and changing food to fix behavioral issues.
So
And I know you know how I feel about this, so you just say how you feel, and I'll say how I feel later. Like, don't feel any like sort of bias, because the look on my face, I'm sure, says it all.
So I'm going to preface it with, I'm sure there's been a dog that someone has spayed and or neutered it and it has fixed X problem. And I'm sure there's been a dog that they've changed their food and it's fixed X behavior problem. Now we're talking about behavior problems, not medical problems. That being said, I think our society loves a quick fix. I know I do. I love a quick fix. So yeah, it's easy to be like, well, spay and neuter them, that might fix it, because it might, probably won't. Same thing with a diet change. Have I ever seen a dog spayed or neutered and have it fix said behavior issue that the owners were concerned about? I have not. Have I ever seen a dog change their food and it's changed their behavior? Not medically. So like there might be dogs that act like pace and they constantly go to the bathroom, like poop, and maybe be like, they're crampy. But like that's a medical issue. They might be like a little bit pacey because they're constantly wanting to go outside. But other than that, no. I would never tell you to change the food for a behavior issue, and I would never tell you to spay or neuter your dog. And I actually did a little study, which I think I've already said. But when I was
again.
When I was at my vet hospital, yeah.
I'll just share this real quick. Deborah says, train the trainer, train the dog, done, check, period. Exactly.
Yeah. So I was at the vet hospital that I worked at, and it was a big thing, not with me, but when dogs would come in that weren't neutered and they were nuts, like off the wall, when they're like bouncing off the wall and or aggressive, they'd be like, well, it's an unneutered Rottweiler, what do you expect? And I'm like, okay. So I kept a log.
I love this story.
And so anytime there was an aggressive dog, for whatever reason, I'd write the dog's name, breed, age, spayed or neutered. And then finally I got to a point where my doctor, the vet, he was like, okay, Susan, we get your point. And I'm like, no, I just want to write it down. Because no, they would stop telling me after a while. And I'd be like, was that dog aggressive? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I want to write it down. And they're like, Susan, we get your point. I'm like, that's cool. I just want it for my records. So let's say out of the 30 aggressive dogs, 2 were not neutered.
Meaning 28 spayed or neutered dogs came in with aggression issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Are you gonna spay them again? I don't know. What are you gonna do now? Change their diet probably.
Yeah.
So I just want to say real quick, Robin commented and said that Miss Roxy is extremely hyper, I think.
Yeah. She's a cute little thing.
Roxy.
She is hyper. What can help with like hyper dogs is teaching them place. It's good impulse control. So any command that has a built-in stay, so like place and lay, will be your best friends, because we can let Roxy be extremely hyper, so she can run around and be herself. But place is literally an off switch. It's like snap you out of it. So you can tell her place, and she's like, "Oh, okay, time to sleep." Just like this little girl over here. I'm not gonna say her name because she'll like lure. But you've seen her if you watch my story. She can do zoomies real nice, but she can lay there real nice and sleep too.
Right,
so
the magic place.
Yeah. Do you want to touch on your food and neutering?
Yeah. So I mean, Susan pretty much you like said it all. I have an issue with it. It bothers me. So like spaying and neutering a dog, like we said, sure, it might have like some effect on them, but like it's silly things like a jumping dog, spaying or neutering them is not going to fix anything, right? Like,
and that was a thing. Somebody that I trained with, she now works at a vet hospital, and their vet hospital also has like a trainer. I'm sorry, it's like I don't know. Anyway, The trainer, if the dog is jumping, they'll always recommend spay and neutering. How is that going to fix jumping? I don't even understand why.
And it's like, I am
being in it or something. I don't understand why that would fix it. It won't.
Like, I am all for spaying and neutering. But it's like, let's not lie to people to get them to do it.
Yeah.
I said, your first time you told me that, I'm like, Susan, that will help. While the dog's on the operating table and knocked out, he won't be jumping on anybody. But like, I think it especially frustrates me, and like trainers are telling people this. So like I think we touched on it before in a Q&A, because I was like ticked off about it that day as well. This trainer's got a raw food company now as well, and they're like showing videos of dogs before and after training, and they're saying it's before and after they were fed on raw. Like, that's lying. But they're advertising that this food fixes problems. You know, I was on a training page on Facebook. I've left that group because it no longer served me. I got that from Susan. Thank you. But they're like, hey, this dog's got really bad anxiety. Which food would y'all recommend to help them? And I commented and I said, you know, I know that this is going to get a lot of hate. However, I've not seen in my years of dog training food affect behavior in that way. The only way I think food is going to affect behavior is if it's making a dog sick. If your dog is like getting sick from the food, then yeah, they're not going to be acting right. But I fix as long as the owners continue with the work. But I fix anxiety without changing food. So let's use training to give the dogs the balance and the structure that they need. Give them that leader that they need to look to. Mm-hmm. That's what they need, right? Like, I can go and eat McDonald's, but I can still like be a nice civil human being and do my job and treat people with respect. Or I can go have like a nice homemade, well-rounded, healthy meal, right? Still gonna go treat people with respect, do my job, go about my business, right? So I don't know. That was just the thing that was bothering me, because I feel like it is just like the easy answer. And why don't we put in the work and train these dogs and give them what they really need, instead of just trying to like throw medication at them or change their food or spay and neuter them?
It's a good gimmick. Or if you don't know, like if you don't know. So I used to work at a vet hospital at one point in time. One of the many. I worked at several. So I won't disclose which one. But anyway, they would recommend certain things that I know for a fact won't work. Like dogs jumping, turn your back on them. Ow, my back hurts because the dog's still jumping. And then like they might stop jumping in that moment. Yes. Does the dog stop jumping? Yeah, because they get bored. But they're going to jump on you the next time you come into the room. Mm-hmm. They're going to jump on you every single time. You turn around, they'll stop, but like they'll be doing it when you're 80. I don't know. Silly. Like, and after a while, like the vet I worked with, he did actually, he saw that I had a knack for training and I did really good things. And then he did actually change what he would say, which is pretty great. Like, it was a great vet hospital, because he was open to that. And it was fun because it was really cool. So if somebody had a behavior issue and he was in the room, they would ask, and he's like, well, actually, Susan does training, so she knows more than I do. And then he would step out and like let me talk. So it was a really good hospital for that. That was cool.
That was really cool. Yeah. But yeah, that was my little rant. But yeah, you know what fixes problems? Like Deborah said, training. Train the dog.
Deborah knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Hit me.
I have a 3-year-old English sheepdog who's scared of new people. He wags his tail and seems happy, but when they approach to pet him, he growls. How do I get him used to people?
How old did you say?
3.
3. So I got a few different thoughts here. So my first thought is, we're not going to growl at people, so like that's just not nice, but we'll talk about that in a second. Your dog might just not be a people kind of dog. In all fairness, like, yeah, address the issue, whatever, get there. But your dog just might not be a people kind of dog. People don't need to come up and try and pet your dog. If he's fine existing with them until they get into his bubble to try to pet him, maybe he just doesn't want to be pet,
I'm sorry. Hold on. I just thought of a really good analogy. So like,
I love analogies, so I'm
it's gonna be stupid because I'm trying to think of something to compare this to. Okay, so I love crocodiles, right? If I go to the freaking zoo, I'm gonna be like, look at this freaking crocodile, love them, holy crap. But if that crocodile comes over the line and like comes over to see me, I'm gonna be like growling and away. You know what I mean? Like just because I like you doesn't mean I want you to come over and touch me.
Right?
Yeah.
That is so good. Exactly. So let's advocate for our dog and not put them in a situation where they feel like they need to growl. Because what they're doing by growling at that person approaching them is they're trying to advocate for themselves. They're saying, "Grr, hey, get away from me," right? So why don't we as the people say, you know what, my dog just doesn't really like to be pet. And people probably won't respond to that because people want to do what people want to do. So then you have to be like, no, for real, like, step away from my dog. So that, honestly, if your dog is existing fine with other people, he's not bothering them, I really wouldn't be too worried about it. I would just advocate for the dog. Now, that being said, you can do counter conditioning with the dog to help build their confidence. You can train the dog in a place to help them be more comfortable when people are around, but still they don't get to bother the dog on the place bed. But I think I would just focus on advocating for him, assuming, again, that he's not going out of his way to cause problems.
Right. Yeah. No, it was just when people approach to pet him. So I think everything you said is valid. If you wanted him to be able to exist better, which I don't know how close you can get to a person. So as long as you're able to have him in a heel and you're walking like on a bridge at the park, like there's this bridge at a park and you're probably like 2 feet away from the people passing by. Is your dog able to walk past those people and not like growl? Then he's fine. It's just that he's like, I don't want you touching me, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be touched. So yeah.
I agree.
Wow.
And my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got another topic. So we've been talking about puppies a bunch. So let's talk about things that puppies do, like the puppy biting and even lack of confidence and things like that. And the thought process that they'll just grow out of certain issues.
Trying to think of something they could grow out of.
Long pause.
Yeah, because I'm not just gonna be like they don't grow out of nothing. So I'm gonna think about it, but if you think of something, let me know. But let's think of things people say. Submissive urination. They will not grow out of that. Ugh. Like I had a dog that submissive urinated when I was a kid, and it was a male too. So of course, like he'd roll on his back, and pee, and it shoot in the air. It did not go away with time. It sure didn't. Mouthing does not go away. Like I had a friend years ago. She had a dog that would come like do a run by lick. So she'd go by you and like lick your leg, and then like walk off and lick the couch and lick the floor and come by and lick your leg. That's really annoying. It's really super annoying. So sorry, I'm gonna correct that. But like these dogs aren't gonna grow out of that. You have to correct it. Again, that's just like a false, simple answer. If you don't know how to fix it, don't want to say how to fix it because it's not socially acceptable, or you want an easy answer. I don't know. But yeah, the dog's not going to grow out of it. The only thing they're going to grow out of is their collar.
Good answer. I like that because I'm sitting here. I'm like, what are they going to grow out of, Susan? They're going to grow out of their collar. I like that. Yeah. I mean, they don't know better unless you teach them better. Like, so I think you touched on it. Like, perfect. And speaking of, your dog doesn't know better unless you teach them better. So they're not going to just grow out of things, and they don't automatically come to. I always like to talk about the dog from the movies, right? That golden retriever, it's a family dog. They go out to a park. the dog jumps in the car with them. They get to the park, unload the kids, get their picnic basket, go sit in the middle of the field. The dog's just running around, like, doing his thing, and then it's time to go, and the dog just hops back in the car with them. Like, you don't even see him, right? He's just in the background.
I do
want to exist.
Did you know that in those movies, so like I saw the movie Max, which is about that Belgian Malinois. Anyway, good movie. And even, okay, never mind.
Okay.
Movie Max. They used like 6 dogs to represent that one dog in the movie. So that dog really doesn't exist because they had to use many dogs to get all of those behaviors. That one dog with all those behaviors doesn't exist unless you train it. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And even still, though, you could train a dog that might be really great with people, but might not be confident enough to do this, or might in that situation do that.
Right.
But I always love, because like in movies, of course, me being like dogs, I notice all the dogs in the movies, and they're just like, you know, in the background, but they never cause problems. You never have a movie unless it's like a part of the scene, really. Or the dog, you get home and the dog just chewed up the furniture, or you're out on a walk with the dog and they like run away, or they're reacting to another dog. Like, no, the dog's just there, right?
How about the movies about the little kids that, like, usually boys, that grow up with this dog and the dog's like perfectly behaved somehow?
Yeah, and the kids like all over the dog, and
yeah,
very not safe things happening. Yeah, and the kid and the dog are just left alone together all day long, and
yeah, and it turns out perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Movies aren't real. Like, movies aren't real, so we have to put in the work to train our dogs, you know? Like, dogs, like, dog for the movies aren't real.
That was like a life goal, right? To have, like, to be one of those trainers that I can literally say, hey, did you see the Jungle Book? Do you remember that python? I trained it. Now I'd want it to be a dog because I don't want to train a python, but
I was gonna say, you train a python.
I always thought it was so fascinating, like, training these big wild animals. Like, of course, I watched whatever, and the one person actually trained the elephant from the Jungle Book. So, like, you don't think about that. Like, these animals were all trained to be able to be in these movies. Okay, sorry. Side note. Let's go back to.
I mean, that is cool.
Okay. Rachel.
Yes.
If I train my dog and he listens to me, will he also listen to my wife?
So that's going to depend on some things. If you train your dog and you've gotten your dog to a point where you can hold them accountable for different commands, if you then train your wife, teach your wife what you've taught the dog, your dog can listen to her as well. But your wife's going to have to be consistent. So if you're always consistent with the dog and you're always putting in the work and you're holding them accountable all the time, right? And then your wife comes in and, you know, loves on the dog and doesn't really do a lot with them. And then, you know, one day, like, out of the blue, asks the dog to do something. The dog might be like, nah.
Who are you? Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't usually ask me to do things. So it's going to depend on the work your wife's willing to put in. But yeah, I'm able to train people's dogs and give them to the owners and relay that information. So you can do the same thing, train up your pup and then teach her that, like, final product, because there are, like, so many steps. So you get your dog to that final product where you're just holding them accountable. You teach your wife everything she needs to know about the dog's commands and about holding them accountable. And it should be good.
Right.
Real quick, Deborah says, awesome session. Had to step out for Hannah Mae. Thanks for all the excellent tips. Love these live sessions later.
Good night, Deborah.
See you, Deborah. I need to see a picture of Hannah. I always hear so much about her, and I just imagine she's adorable.
She posted her picture a couple times on my Facebook. She'll have to change her profile picture to include her. That way, when she goes up on the screen, we'll see her.
Make your profile picture your dog just for Hannah.
I mean, you could be in it too, but we want to see your dog.
I hear so much about Hannah. What were you saying?
What was I saying? Oh,
wife.
Like Rachel likes to say, you're teaching your dog, like, we're teaching you the language to speak. So you're on the same language. So the way that you teach your dog, you can have other people have your dog respect other people, but they have to speak the same language. So like if somebody came into my house and told my dog Platz, which is German for down, my dog's going to be like, what the hell? Even though it means the same thing, right? So the person's like, well, it means the same thing. That's not the same language. My dog's
really great example.
Thank you.
Like, that's really great.
Thank you. Yeah, so even if, okay, for an easier example, because, like, whatever, but, like, let's say you told your, oh, okay, so I get one of Rachel's dogs. So if I get one of Rachel's dogs that she's training, they're trained up, and I say, lay, and the dog's like, what the hell?
What does lay mean?
Down. Yeah, down. They were taught that down means to lay down until you're released. I teach my dogs lay means to lay down until you're released. So that's the same kind of thing. Like, you have to be on the same page to be able to communicate with that dog. So,
and
go ahead.
Sorry, that just made me think. I've heard like another dog trainer. I know her mom has said this before, and I think my mom has asked for like the keyword. My mom's been like, "What are the keywords I need to know for Gaia?" And she just means the command, right? So you can't go up to Gaia and tell her to lay, because she's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But the key word, that language, is down.
I could easily do that, Joan. Are you teaching my girl German? How cool would that be? I could teach her. Ooh. Well,
Susan's getting hyped.
I am. Like, my brain's going a mile a minute. So I was like, okay, I could teach her plots easily to be down. I could also teach her foos, which is the alternative to heel. And then I was like, well, if I taught her foos, it would have to be on my right side, because on the left means heel. So I could teach her foos means to heel on the right side. And why would I want to do that, Joan? If you ever wanted to get a second dog, because then you could have one dog on this side, one dog on this side, and they're both healing.
You know, I also, side note, because I was thinking about that the other day, because this summer I want to start taking Gaia out on like more adventures, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm imagining we're walking in a path. She's in a heel on my left side. I'm walking on the right side of this path at Belle Isle near my house, right? So if I'm on the right side and she's on my left side, and a person crosses me, like, Gaia's next to this person, and I don't want people near my dog because I don't like people. So I'm like, I could train her foos. So we could be walking in a heel. I could be like foos, and she could like jump over to the right side to like get away from this person.
Yeah.
After that. Right, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's all just like language.
But, yeah. It's fun.
I also want to acknowledge this because I feel like I haven't like commented on this, and I comment on it every time. Turning 23.
Oh, I was like, what?
Right?
Yeah. Freaking nuts.
That is insane.
We don't keep track of the questions anymore. Like,
I know, I was about to say 230 questions answered. No. But it's really cool.
It's cool.
Right.
Yeah, so if anybody has a question, please ask it. Otherwise, we're just gonna like shoot this.
Twiddle our thumbs for 7 minutes.
Our hair.
What to do. Let's see. Okay, another question for you then, which is good because this is the last one that I have. How long does my dog need to wear the prong collar and the e-collar after training?
I'm the one that asks how long questions.
I'm asking now.
Okay.
You asked me how long something that was not dog related, and then we're shocked that I didn't know the answer. What was it?
I don't know. Not dog training? I don't know.
Yeah, it was not dog training related. And you were like, how long, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, how long to soak dog food for? Never mind. I was like, I don't know how long to do anything for. Don't ask me how long.
So, can you ask that again?
No. Okay. How long does my dog need to wear the prong collar and the e-collar after training?
How long do you want to be able to have a way to follow through with your dog's commands? Forever? Then forever. I say that because these tools were used for a reason, to be able to communicate with your dog. Now, if you ask me how long will I have to like use them, like engage the button, that depends on like how accountable you hold them. So you won't always have to use the collar, like activate like use it, but it's always going to be on your dog. Why? Because Sadie today, awesome. We all go outside. They have their collars on because I'm like, yeah, hold my dogs accountable, because normally I'm on top of my board and trained dogs. I let my dogs slack. Okay. Before I go outside, I think to myself, do I need their receiver? I already have hers, Allie, and I'm holding her leash, and I have my treat pouch, and I don't really want to. My receiver's on a lanyard, so I could just put it around my neck. But Susan's lazy, and so I'm like, man. So I go outside, and Sadie runs around the house and barks her head off at the neighbor's dog. So I'm like, I yelled no, because I'm outside on the other side of the house. So I'm like, no, Sadie, no, because I wanted her to like listen to me. But she was barking so loud that I don't even know if she heard me say no. Because I did think about if she heard me say no, I could have came in the house and corrected her. But I don't even think she heard me say no. So of course she comes over to me, and I'm like really pissed at her. And I'm like, you should be pissed at yourself, Susan, because you didn't have the collar. So yeah, I would recommend always wearing it, because like I like to say, it's like a seatbelt. You won't always need it, thank God. But when it's you're also like, thank God, because now you have a way. Because what if you are off leash hiking and your dog sees a squirrel and just darts, runs off? I want to be able to say no, recall back to me. And you might think my dog will never do that, and some dogs may never do that. But you never know. You just don't.
Right.
So I would always wear them.
And then, sorry to hop off of that real quick. Question. Joan says, what are your thoughts / input on putting coconut oil in their dog food?
Rachel, do you have any thoughts before I talk?
Okay, so, Joan, and I actually know, okay, hold on, pause. How great is it to have a question and actually know who's asking? Because, like, we've asked questions before from clients and, like, not known. Okay, so, okay, side note. My thoughts are, I don't know anything about coconut oil specifically. I've heard it's got a lot of great benefits, like health-wise for people. I think like treating it as like a supplement or like a, and again, I'm just talking here, I don't actually know. But treating it like a supplement or something like that might be good. I think maybe it's fatty. I think it's supposed to help like gain weight. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. So like that, those aspects of it could be good. Putting it in dog's food to encourage a dog to eat, just if that's why you're asking, I would be hesitant for that, because you wouldn't want to make her reliant on having that coconut oil in her food to eat. It's like we don't want to add treats to food or add cheese and we don't want to add stuff to food to get a dog to eat it, you know? So if you're wanting to add it for the potential health benefits, then that could be cool, because I've heard like a lot of good things about coconut oil, I think. But if you're wanting to add it to encourage her to eat, the most I'm going to add to food is water to encourage a dog to eat it. If that makes sense. What do you think, Susan?
Yeah, so it could have benefits like adding, like helping the coat not be so dry. So I've had vets recommend coconut oil for that. Yes. And for the health benefits, yeah. So mainly, I only know that it does help with a dry coat. I believe, don't quote me on this.
Don't quote us on anything ever.
Actually, I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say yes if you want it for like dry skin. If your dog has like flaky dandruff, then yeah, it is a good supplement. What other health benefits, Joan? Because there might be better products that I could recommend you than coconut oil. But if it's just for like the dry coat, then yeah, you can add fish oil for that.
Okay, Nicholas, thank you. I was just Googling. I've heard a lot about it. I could have sworn I thought it like helped dogs gain weight.
Oh, Paula. Paula's here.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
She just caught us at the tail end.
I know. But you're here. Hope you and Miss Abby are doing well. And then Joan says for skin and coat for the most part.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I've heard it being good for that.
Yeah. Another good thing, though, for the skin and coat is fish oil, and it does matter what kind of fish oil you get. So I would probably would select fish oil over coconut oil first. You can do better late than never. You can do both together, but if the fish oil, if you want to look into that, it's Well Actin, very good brand. There's Well Actin, and then there's Well Actin Advanced. The Well Actin Advanced you can only get through your vet, but that is really awesome for like older dogs. So my dog Sadie is on that, and it's good for like joint health. Has like anti-inflammatory properties in there for her. So yeah, Well Actin is really good fish oil, and it helps with the skin and coat as well.
Right. And then one other thing I wanted to add with the deciding between the fish oil or the coconut oil, another thing might be, since knowing that Allie can be a little picky sometimes of if she wants to eat, or just with any dog in general, like adding that coconut oil, I imagine is going to have like a really strong taste for the dog, and like they might really like it. So that might be like adding a treat. So then if you run out of coconut oil, or you travel and you don't bring it, or you want to stop giving it to them, the dog might struggle going back to their regular kibble. So if they're having kibble with this like great treat on top, even though you're giving them that as a health supplement, it's still to them a really super yummy treat. So then if you feed them their kibble plain, they might be like, I don't want that. Now, of course, you could just be like, well, don't eat it and try again tomorrow. But that might potentially cause some issues if you ever want to take them off of it. But again, I'm just guessing.
Makes sense.
Well, yeah. So I know we're over an hour already, so like it doesn't matter if we go over anymore. Does anybody else have any like questions or thoughts or comments? It's been another great Q&A Tuesday. I love these.
I know. I can't. This is, of course, Allie's second Q&A Tuesday, the last one, because she'll be home this Sunday.
Oh, you just know. No, because I'm really liking getting pictures and videos of Allie. So I'm sorry, Joan, but I think she needs to like stay. Like Susan will send me videos of her just like looking cute.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I thought that. I was thinking that too, because I'm like, I've been able to do so many like confidence-y building things with her. I'm like, I really want to focus on showing them like how to work her through different things. So thanks, Joan. For the kudos. I was gonna do, like I told you real quick about that, how I had her jump on those things, and then I had the dog kennel, and then I also put like this little, what's gonna be a bridge kind of thing for her.
Is that on your story, by the way?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to send it to me because I want to see. But okay. Continue.
I almost did that with her right before we came up here. Joan said she can send you some pictures, Rachel. It's okay.
Hey.
I almost started working on that with her, and I'm like, no, I want to get this on camera because I want to be able to show the before and after. I want to be able to show like, hey, look, this dog doesn't want to do this thing. Hey, look, watch her put the pieces together and want to do the thing. Because so of course she didn't want to jump on the dog kennel part because she's like, this is scary as hell. And so she jumped down. And I'm like, sorry, the food's up here. Like literally I just kept the food on the dog kennel. And I was like, figure it out. And then she would go to the dog pool and she's like, there's no food in here. Darn it. And then she'd come back over to me. Because this is all off leash right now because you can use leash pressure, but at this point she didn't need it. So like with the bottle pool, she was not getting in there for food. She didn't care. So I used leash pressure to get her into the bottle pool. And then now that I did that, she'll jump in on her own. But as long as she's showing like interest, right now I'm not going to use leash pressure unless I have to. So anyway, she got up onto the dog kennel. And so before I add this next piece, I'm like, I want to see her reaction because I think she's going to be like, oh, no, nothing. And then I actually want to move like the dog crate and the table. They're going to be like, I'm going to slowly like make space. So she'll have to jump over it. Yeah. So I'm excited about it.
That's really cool. And I think it's just like going to be so cool to see that before and after as well, because like, yeah, I'm having to use some pressure right now, but all of this pressure all it is just pressure. Like it's nothing crazy, but then the dog learns going towards this thing that I'm scared of turns it off. So this thing that I'm scared of one, I shouldn't be scared, but it's actually kind of cool because now I'm getting food and now the leash pressure's gone. So now she's just like running and jumping into the bottle pool by herself.
Yeah.
It stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, like, that's great. Like, it's so awesome. And I gotta watch your story because I know you have some stuff on there I haven't seen yet. It's so cool because
I have her. Sorry, I could talk about Allie all day because she's my board and train, and like she's my whole life right now. So it'll be weird when she's gone because it'll be like, it's like having a baby. You know, you're constantly like
doing something with
doing things. But anyway, I took her to the vet because I had to get Dasequin for my dog's joint supplement, and I had been there. Let's say 5 days ago, I had taken her to the vet because she needed a vaccine, and all I was doing was leash drills. So like, if you pull at the leash, here's some pressure, you don't yield, leash pop, let's go walk this way, because she was just so like high alert. And today, I got a little clip of her healing in front of the vet hospital, and then I got her laying there, and it's right by like a busy road with like one of the circles, like a rotary draw, like
a roundabout.
Huh?
A roundabout?
Yes, that. Yeah. So it's like really busy, right? And of course she's like on high alert, but she's able to do the commands, like to do the things. So it went so much better. So I want to.
That is great.
Yeah, I want to focus on getting her out and about more, just to help her. But yeah, we could talk Allie all day.
Right. All right. Well, ready to wrap it up?
Yep.
All right. Because I got a phone call consultation I'm gonna do right now.
I know.
So happy Q&A Tuesday. It's been great. Thank you for everybody who joined us, and special thanks to Joan for all of your comments. Because I just love it when people comment, because then I can click on it right here, and now it's on my screen, and that's so cute. So thank you for commenting and watching. Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Pat Feeder Dog and Rachel Kohler Dog Training. Have a great day.
Bye.